What if the best win condition in Vintage wasn't Tendrils of Agony, Monastery Mentor, Key Vault, Urza Saga, none of those? What if instead it was Orcish Bowmasters? That's what we're doing today in Vintage Paradoxical Outcome. Let's go check it out. This is the deck list that we'll be playing today, and it's all based around Orcish Bowmasters, a card that has redefined every single format that it's legal in. So we are playing the classic vintage win condition of Time Vault plus Manifold Key to take infinite turns, and then you can play your Lurrus of the Dream Den out of the sideboard and attack for 3 over and over again. But you also have Orcish Bowmasters plus Time Twister. This comes at the cost of no longer playing Yawgmoth's Will. You could play Yawgmoth's Will, there's something stopping you, but my deck list today is fairly stock, and I copied it from other people that have had a lot of success in the vintage format recently, so I figured they probably know more than I do. I don't play vintage that often, so I'm going to try something that's a little bit more typical. I do like Yawgmoth's Will a lot in vintage. I think that you could probably fit it into this deck list. And this is actually a deck list that I worked on going into Vintage Eternal Weekend this year. I played Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome combo, a very early list. And since then, people have sort of redefined it, made it a lot more tuned. And well, I'm interested in playing a list that people are having a lot of success with. So that is what we're doing today. We have Time Twister, Orcish Bowmasters, and, well, you also have just Construct Beatdown with Urza Sagas. I mean, you are playing the full power. You have Mox Sapphire, Black Lotus, all these powerful artifacts to make huge constructs. And, well, that's sort of the deck. I mean, we are a Paradoxical Outcome deck, so this is a card that's defined vintage ever since it's been legal. And I think that, this is just a lot more, what is the word I'm looking for here? Smooth than a lot of the other vintage strategies. I tried Underworld Breach combo a lot leading into Eternal Weekend, and I found it to be too clunky. Here, your win conditions are just great cards. You have Orcish Bowmasters. Time Vault plus Manifold Key is super easy to assemble. Same thing with Urza Saga. You're not playing any dead cards. The one downside of this deck list, in my opinion, there's no Tinker, my favorite vintage card. It's not in here. So no Bolas's Citadel, no Blightsteel Colossus out of the sideboard. Instead, we're running a small ball vintage deck. That is what the format's about at the moment. There's a lot of Lavinias running around, and well, this sort of deck is just more suited for the current vintage metagame, unfortunately. I love Tinker. It will see play here again on this channel, I promise you. But that's all I got for today. So without any further ado, let's head in to match number 1. I'll see you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Let's go. First match, we're on the play. We'll reveal our combo cat, Lurrus of the Dream Den. Surprise, surprise, our opponent also has a Lurrus. Alright, so we have Mox Pearl into Lorien revealed to go get an island. I think that this hand is fine. Okay, so we will start off by playing our copy of Mox Pearl. We'll cycle the Lorien revealed. And I'm probably going to grab the basic island here to avoid Wasteland. We don't even have a Bowmasters yet, so I don't want to play into a card that would hurt me here. We'll bobble the opponent. They have a Lorien revealed on top, and we'll pass the turn. Draw off the bobble. It's another copy of Dress Down. So I played 2 Dress Downs at Eternal Weekend. The list recently played 3 and even 4 copies of Dress Down, which it's a choice. I do think that with all of the Dress Downs, you lose some of those powerful cards that I played at Eternal Weekend, like Dig Through Time and Yawgmoth's Will. So you're just really saying, I don't want to lose to Lavinia. And I mean, I get it, but you lose a little bit of power is my point here. They play a Tundra. Okay. They have 4 cards in hand. They're about to drop the 5 off their Mishra's Bauble. And the Ancestral Recall. They wisely played around my Force of Negation. I cannot counter this. So they opened up on 2 Moxen plus Ancestral Recall. Ay. I'm going to Time Walk here. See if we can find another land. We don't find one. I'm going to Merchant Scroll. We'll grab our own copy of Ancestral Recall. Pass the turn. They play a Brainstorm. So they've now seen a lot of cards within their deck. I'm definitely behind in this spot. They cycle a Lorien Revealed, so they get that shuffle effect off their Brainstorm, a perfect Brainstorm in Vintage, no fetch land required. They select another copy of Tundra, and then play an Urza's Saga, so we know that they have a Tundra in hand. They have 7 cards. I'd love to draw a blue source here, so that way I can Ancestral Recall plus Flusterstorm back up. They main phase Orcish Bowmasters. Yep. Okay. We draw a Paradoxical Outcome. I am forced to pass the turn here. The Saga goes to the second chapter. They play that Tundra. We'll take 2, I'll go to 17. On their end step, I will attempt to flash in a Dress Down. I just realized in the intro, I forgot to mention that this is a donation deck. So, can't believe I forgot that. Thank you to Ari for today's donation deck. I really do appreciate your support. I mean, I'm really sorry. Yeah, I mean, I should have mentioned that. Ari loved the Vintage 4 Ponder deck. Unfortunately, this deck does not have room for Ponder in it. So that is why we're not playing Ponder today. Even the 1 copy that we're allowed to play, no Ponders. Well, I mean, previously the 1 copy of Ponder you were allowed to play. Black Lotus was a very good draw here. We'll play Black Lotus. Okay. What to do? I guess I'll sacrifice for 3 blue. We'll attempt the Ancestral Recall. They have 6 cards in hand. They force a negation, exiling Lorien Revealed. I will force a negation their force a negation, tapping the Mox Pearl. They have 4 cards left. They're going to hardcast Force on my force a negation. I'm going to counter their Flusterstorm, or I'm going to Flusterstorm countering both of their counters. So they would need a 3rd force here to stop my Ancestral Recall. Alright, Ancestral Recall resolves. We find Urza's Saga. So if I find a black source, we can go get the Time Vault. But, I mean, even with winning that counter war, I don't think we're ahead. So the Saga now goes to the 3rd chapter. And if they have a tutor here, we just lose the game because they can go get their own Manifold Key off of this Saga. And if they're not making a construct, I'm pretty sure I'm dead. They select Black Lotus, okay. Is this just Lurrus? What are you doing? They're going to play Lavinia, floating 3 mana. Lavinia resolves. And Treasure Cruise, okay. Very good for the opponent here. And now they're going to Time Twister. I cannot interact, so they have Orcish Bowmasters plus Time Twister. I'm going to take 7. And then they can attack for 9. So that would put me to 1. And my new hand doesn't really do anything. So I go to 10, they attack for 9, I go to 1. I'm dead to another copy of Orcish Bowmasters here. They play a Mox Pearl, and now they're attacking for 9, I go to 1. I don't see a way out of this, but we'll take our draw step and see if we can draw Time Vault, plus them not having any interaction. They play another copy of Urza's Saga, and a Seal of Cleansing, so that also stops my Time Vault from winning the game. Okay. We draw Force of Will, and that is not good enough, so we can go to game number 2. We'll make our deck a little bit smaller so we can actually see the cards that are in here. So many singletons in Vintage makes it fairly difficult. Okay. We likely want the Flusterstorm. I don't think Force and Negation is quite good against this deck. Like, they're really a control deck. They're not really a combo deck, so while it can be nice, Flusterstorm probably just gets the job done a lot more easily. Mindbreak Trap is actually better than Force and Negation in this matchup if you wanted it. So the question is, like, what do you board out? Because everything in our main deck is already good in this matchup. I think Dress Down number 3 can probably go. Oh no, I already boarded out the Force and Negation. My apologies. So this is just a clean 1-for-1 counterspell swap. But the Dress Downs are, like, fine. They do kill opposing construct tokens and your own. And you want some number of them to help beat Lavinia, but as you saw in that game number 1, they sort of just rotted in my hand the entire game. Like, they're not as good as you might think they are. Holy moly. We'll try this. A little bit risky here. We'll lead off on a Gitaxian Probe. No force. They do have Lavinia on the first turn. So we'll play Black Lotus. Well, let's add 3 blue, Ancestral Recall. Target myself. We find a Saga. We'll play the Saga. Play Mox Sapphire. They do have a Strip Mine. I guess I should play Time Vault. And then we'll pass the turn. They begin with the Mishra's Bauble, Mox Pearl, okay, and then the Strip Mine. So they're going to choose to not play Lavinia on the first turn. I'll float a colorless, and then we can cycle our... They're going to target themselves. I'm just going to cycle the Lorien Revealed. We'll go grab an Underground Sea. In our upkeep, they'll draw a card off Mishra's Bauble. We'll draw for turn. Another Bowmasters. We'll pass. They play the Tundra. And there's Lavinia. Sure. So I could try to surprise them with the Bowmasters, but I'm just going to play it out while I can. Target them. I don't want to untap the Time Vault. Another Lorien is a decent draw. We'll cycle that. Go grab another Underground Sea. We'll play the Underground Sea. Attack them for 1. See if they're going to block. No blocks. Before damage, let's flash in the other Bowmasters. Target them. And our Orc army will get a little bit bigger. Pass the turn. Underground Sea. So they played a land that we did not know about. So we still know 3 of their 5 cards. And they play their own Time Vault. Yeah. And they have Vampiric Tutor. So they have Key Vault next turn. That's pretty scary. We drew Force of Will that I can't play due to the Lavinia. But I do have a Dress Down in hand. We'll attack for 2. Okay. So now they can Vampiric Tutor if they so choose. And they choose to untap. They don't Vampiric Tutor for the key. They play Scalding Tarn. Okay. They might have been waiting for... I guess I forgot to cross out the Lavinia. We only know 1 card now. In my upkeep, they're going to use Scalding Tarn. Okay. And they Vampiric Tutor. That resolves. We'll draw for turn. A Mox Emerald. See, I'm trying to bluff here that we have another Bowmasters, but they called my bluff. So they're going to take 3, and then we'll pass. They play a Misty Rainforest, and they put Lurrus to their hand. They play a Mox Emerald. They fetch. Okay. Are you playing Lurrus? So I need to counter this because otherwise they'll just be able to replay key twice next turn. So I have to take the chance that I'm allowed to do something meaningful here. We'll draw off the Dress Down. We drew another Mox. That actually hurts. And we'll counter the Lurrus. Unfortunately, the Dress Down is going to sacrifice on the end step. No, I don't want to give you another turn. Okay. Let's attack for 2. And now I'm going to main phase Dress Down. The hope here is I draw a single mana that allows me to cast Paradoxical Outcome. We did draw mana. Play Mox Jet. Play Mox Emerald. And now we'll Outcome. Picking up Bowmasters, Sapphire, Time Vault, Jet, Mox Emerald. Leaving the Dress Down in play because I want to replay those 0 mana artifacts in the face of Lavinia. We drew another Outcome, but I'm actually short of being able to cast it. I didn't draw another 0 mana artifact. So if they did go get key, I'm actually dead here. Unless... Okay, so I found the line. I think I found the line. Alright, so we're going to Vampiric Tutor and then Dress Down into Force of Will. Okay. Pass the turn. Treasure Cruise. Insane draw, but I'm pretty sure they Vampiric Tutored for key, so if I counter this, I lose the game. We have to let the Treasure Cruise go. I could have flashed in Bowmasters, but that doesn't win me the game, and then I can't respond to the key. This Time Vault being in play has put a real damper on this game for us. They play a Saga. Okay. They're attacking for 2. I'll go to 15. And now they're going to Brainstorm. They're trying to get me to tap my mana, so that way I can't interact with key. Demonic Tutor. We have to let that go. So now they should be able to go get a Force of Will, and I'll lose the game. There it is. So in response, I'll Vampiric Tutor. We'll grab... I could also grab Mental Misstep. But Misstep would lose to another Misstep, but I don't know. Flash in Dress Down. Okay. And now we'll Mental Misstep the key. Really? You have nothing? Okay. I find that very surprising. Our Saga goes to the second chapter. I can put them to 1 here, but that doesn't get the job done. Flash and Bowmasters. Ping them. Attack for 3. They'll go to 1. Let's play another Urza's Saga. And attempt a Paradoxical Outcome. So it's weird here because I don't actually have a mana that I can play that would allow me to replay Bowmasters. But we'll outcome for 4. I've already played a land, and we'll go to cleanup. I've used all 3 dress downs, so I can't actually replay any of these artifacts. But they're at 1 life here. Mox Ruby. They cycle a Lorien Revealed. Okay. Picking up a Tundra. They play their own copy of Orcish Bowmasters. Sure. I go to 10. Brutal. And I don't have my Bowmasters in play. Well, I guess I drew 2 anyway. Sure. So I'm taking 7. Puts me to 3. And then their Lavinia can put me to 1. So if they drew another Bowmasters, I'm dead. Did I find the losing line this game? Yeah, I think I wasn't supposed to pick up my Bowmasters. That's where I went wrong. If I lose this, it's my own fault. I go to 3. I'm also dead to a Time Walk. Okay, so we didn't draw Flusterstorm in any of our stuff, and I lose. Womp womp. Yeah, I definitely threw this game. I should have left the Bowmasters in play. I didn't need to pick it up. I knew that I had no way of replaying it, but I was hoping for like something I wasn't thinking of, but it just didn't exist. So that's my own fault. We are 0-1. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Let's try that again. We're on the draw for match number 2, and maybe I won't make an egregious play mistake this round. Okay, so we have turn 1 Demonic Tutor for either Black Lotus or Ancestral Recall. We have Force of Will ×2. I think that this is a pretty great opening hand. Turn 1 Underground Sea into Mox Sapphire, sure. You have a Time Walk. Brainstorm resolves. And they missed their land drop. Interesting. We draw a Paradoxical Outcome, we'll play a Mox Jet, cast Demonic Tutor, go grab Ancestral Recall, and we'll pass the turn. They played their second land without a shuffle, so I think they just forgot to play a land last turn? Weird. We'll draw for turn. Black Lotus. A good card I heard. Okay, so we'll play out the Lotus. We can just pass. No need to play into their Orcish Bowmasters here. In their upkeep, I will cast Ancestral Recall. In response, they Mystical Tutor. I will allow that to happen. They find their own Ancestral Recall. They cycle Street Wraith, so they're on Doomsday. And they're going to Ancestral themselves. I will Force Will exiling a Paradoxical Outcome. My own Ancestral. Resolves. Beautiful. Misty Rainforest. And now they're going to dig through time. I think I have to sacrifice my Lotus here. We'll Fluster. I don't want to make this play, but I think having Force of Will later is going to be better in case they end up having enough mana to pay for Flusterstorm at a different point in time. Okay, they pass the turn with 2 cards in hand. Time Twister. It's not really a card I want to play at the moment, so we'll just play out this Time Vault. And in 2 turns, we will win the game. We draw a Dress Down. I mean, really good card against Doomsday. So we have triple protection here. And we have the win coming off suspended next turn. And it looks like we're going to get this game. Oh, I guess I could have made a construct there. That's my mistake. Okay, so I guess I'll make a construct now. I was clicking too fast. Go grab the key. Play Academy. Untap. Take another turn. Put Lurrus to my hand. Bowmasters, okay. Okay, and now our opponent decides to concede. Finally, we can go to game number 2. So we're facing Doomsday. We want Flusterstorm number 4, Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap. Those are all things we're interested in here. The problem is, what do we take out? Our entire main deck is good. I think we want to play the control role, and we don't really need Paradoxical Outcome in this matchup. So if we board out all 4, we're actually stuck with 1 extra slot. So is there anything in our sideboard that's better than a random singleton outcome? Probably not. So I think that we should just board down to 1. Game number 2, we're on the draw. We've opened up a hand with no permission. And while We do have a Lurrus revealed to change the colors of our hand. Our hand, I mean, this is an all-out combo hand that's also slow. I think you just have to mulligan. This is much better. We'll keep and bottom there the Mishra's Bauble, Underground Sea, Mock Sapphire, Ancestral Recall. I will attempt to counterspell this, pitching a Dress Down. And they have Ancestral plus Daze. Not a lot I can do about that. And they're passing the turn with 7 cards in hand. We draw Mana Vault. Not really a great draw here. Cycle the Lorien Revealed. Select Underground Sea. We'll play it and pass. Okay, so they replay their Underground Sea into Mox Jet. We draw another land. We'll play out the Urza Saga. And it might not seem important, but I'm going to play this Mana Vault because it will allow me to pay for a Flusterstorm from their side of the table. And they're just playing a land of passing, so their hand might be a lot of permission if they're not really doing anything here. Our Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. I'll play the Polluted Delta. I'm going to hold the Mana Crypt just because it doesn't need to be in play right now, and I don't want our opponent to know that we only have 1 card in hand that's relevant. The Demonic Tutor. That's going to happen. Dark Ritual. And Doomsday. I'm going to attempt a Flusterstorm here. They have 4 cards in hand, so if they have a Dark Ritual, they can pay for Doomsday. 4 targets all going at Doomsday. Doomsday has been countered. Okay, that's good to see. On their end step, we will fetch and create a construct. Draw for turn, and it's a Force of Will. Not the worst draw. Hold on. I think I'm supposed to pay using the Mana Vault here, because then I can hardcast Force of Will. I think I'll grab a Mishra's Bauble. Play the Mana Crypt. We will go to combat. Do you have the Dress Down in your hand? A lot of lists play 1 Dress Down. I'm actually not a big fan of it, but it is good in a spot like this. Hurkyl's Recall. Okay, I don't think I'm going to win the long game, so I'm going to choose to fight here. Hardcast Force. Attack for 6. So this puts them to 13. I do not have lethal in play next turn. I could sacrifice the Bauble, but I'm not sure what that actually does for me here. There's no card I can draw that is good on their turn. Do you have the Consultation, or is this just a blocker? It's just a blocker. Okay. And then they concede. Beautiful. We are now 1-1 in this Vintage League. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and Mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Match number 3, we're on the play. Reveal our copy of Lurrus of the Dream Den. Yeah, this hand is powerful. We will keep. Turn 1 Urza's Saga. Mox Pearl. Mishra's Bauble. Let's play the Manifold Key, and then we'll bobble them immediately. So this way I could potentially draw another blue card to go with my Force of Negation. Archon of Emeria, not what I wanted to see here. So they're on the initiative. We'll draw a card off the Bauble. Time Twister, I mean, that's a pretty good one. They play Wasteland and destroy my Urza's Saga. That happens. And it looks like they're just going to pass the turn after that. Okay, so we will get to untap and cast Time Twister off of Artillerian Academy. Alright, spin. Replay a Mox Ruby. And then pass the turn, unfortunately. Also, drawing double Flusterstorm was not ideal here. Next turn, we do have Demonic Tutor into Time Vault, though. Chrome Mox, okay. They imprint a Dauntless Dismantler. They play a Lotus Petal, Cavern of Souls. You got it. They name Human. 3 mana. Anointed Peacekeeper. That's going to resolve. And then they can choose to name Demonic Tutor here if they so choose. And if they do, the tutor will cost 4. Time Vault would be 6. And then the 1 mana to activate key is 7. So if I play land next turn, we have 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 1 mana short of winning the game. They do name Time Vault. Okay, so Time Vault will cost 2 every turn. I wonder if that's even correct. I guess the untap of Time Vault will cost 2. Alright, so I'm going to Play the Underground Sea. We'll Demonic Tutor. I'm going to go get Black Lotus. We'll play the Lotus. Add 3 blue and a white. We'll put Lurrus to my hand. Cast the Lurrus. Play the Black Lotus. Merchant Scroll. We'll go grab Ancestral Recall. And then let's recall targeting myself. Mox Opal. And then I'll untap the Mox Pearl. So this way I can dress down on their turn. Dauntless Dismantler. I'm going to respond and flash in a dress down. The Dismantler will now resolve. Wasteland. Okay. They'll attack for 3. I'll go to 17. The dress down sacrifices. They don't have the white mana to activate the Dismantler this turn. Mox Emerald was a great draw. We'll play that. Play the Black Lotus. I did forget that Dismantler makes everything come into play tapped. I won't lie. I mean, I could outcome, or I could just save the outcome for if they Dismantler. I feel like that's probably better. We'll play Saga. And let's attack. No blocks. Pass the turn. They attack for 4. I will go to 16. Cavern of Souls on Archon. Lauren of the Third Path. Okay. I mean, they're probably going to target my Saga here. And they do. Yeah, that dies. We can untap. Bowmasters was a decent draw. Let's play the Bowmasters. Kill the Lauren of the Third Path. Play Misty. And then on my own end step, I'm going to flash and dress down, which will take away the ability of Dauntless Dismantler. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. That's fine by me. On the end step of that, still on the stack, I'm going to untap Mox Opal. And then we'll Brainstorm, getting rid of these Fluster Storms. And I drew another. We'll fetch. Grab an Underground Sea. Dress down can go to the graveyard. And we will untap. Another Bowmasters, okay. Let's flash in another Bowmasters. Target the Thalia. I think I'm going to make my opponent respond. I'm going to dress down here. And if they want to use the Dismantler, they have to do it now, and they don't. We draw Time Vault. So I believe that's just the game. We'll play Time Vault. Untap Time Vault. Take another turn. Flash in another Bowmasters. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the trigger because there's a dress down in play. Maybe I should have waited. But I was just like, I have infinite turns. I'm not going to lose this. Untap the Time Vault. X is 0 here. We'll Paradoxical Outcome. And I can pick up my key too. Sweet, we've taken game number 1 over the initiative. We definitely want Dismember, Pithing Needle, Force of Negation, maybe even Mindbreak Trap. Tabernacle is not great, but it's an option. So that puts us up to 68. We know that we don't want Mental Misstep or Fluster Storms. Those can get out of our deck. Force of Negation's really only there to counter their mana. So keep that in mind. Now we're at 64. I don't think we really have room for the Tabernacle. That can go back in our sideboard. And I think you're not likely to do the Paradoxical Outcome thing, so I'm going to board out 2 outcomes and then maybe 1 Bobble. You could also do both Bobbles and bring in the Hurkyl's Recall for like their Null Rods. I think I'm okay to try this. So we have a Force of Negation. This answer's really slow. It might be fine though. I'll keep. I'm going to counter this Mox, exiling Dress Down. Lotus Petal. Ancient Tomb. White Plume Adventurer. Okay. They picked up a basic Plains, so they have turn 1 the initiative creature. We find Time Walk. I'll play an island and pass. They go to combat, I'll take 5. I go to 15. They play the Plains. And Null Rod. Sure. On the end step, we'll cycle Lorien Revealed. Grab the Underground Sea. They untap their White Plume. We find an Urza's Saga. That doesn't help me a whole lot here. I will Time Walk. I'm at 15. I could Vampiric Tutor, but I'm not sure what I would actually grab in this spot. So I'm going to save the Vampiric Tutor, because I think we have a line where I can potentially Time Twister, and the land here gives us Time Twister next turn with Orcish Bowmasters. So I'll play Needle. We're going to name Wasteland. And then we'll pass the turn. So they're going to go to Trap. And now I will lose 5 life going down to 10. They go to combat. I'm going to flash in Bowmasters, deal 1 to them, and then we'll block the White Plume. Lauren of the Third Path. Yeah, that hurts here. So that's going to shut me off of the Time Twister line. Okay. I think I'm supposed to just take a real draw here because there's no card I can Vampiric Tutor for at 2 mana that's worthwhile. I guess I messed up by playing the Saga instead of the Delta last turn, but I wasn't expecting Lauren of the Third Path on my creature, or on my land. I feel like I've lost this game. Because I'm going to take 1 and then 7, and Vampiric Tutor doesn't work anymore. So even if I chump block, what am I doing? Let's go to game 3. I think I'm good to just resubmit here. On the play this time. Reveal the Lurrus. So this is a turn 1 Demonic Tutor. We have Key. I think we keep this. I'd feel a lot better if we had a blue card, but this hand seems like it does the thing. We lose to a Null Rod. That's pretty scary. Play Mox Sapphire, Mox Opal, Mana Crypt. I mean, I could just go get Ancestral here. It's probably the safer line to not lose to Null Rod. Yeah, I'll do that. Ancestral myself. Double Needle's a little awkward here. We'll play Manifold Key. Pass the turn. I guess I could have needled on Dauntless Dismantler. That was probably the line there. I was trying to think, like, I don't have a land. What's the point of even playing Needle? But I guess you name Dauntless Dismantler. That's like the best thing you can needle there. They play a Mox Ruby. Black Lotus is going to happen. Cavern of Souls. They name Archon. That is a turn 1 Archon of Emeria that is uncounterable. Mana Crypt. We'll choose Tails and we win. Another Dismember. I will dismember the Archon, paying 1 black, so I'll pay 2 life here. And then we'll play a Needle. We'll name Dauntless Dismantler. And then we'll Needle again. Name Wasteland. Pass the turn. They play Wasteland, okay. They have 4 cards remaining. Mana Crypt flip. We lost the flip this time. We go to 15. Orcish Bowmasters. We'll put Lurrus to my hand. Actually, untap the Mana Crypt. Then we'll put Lurrus to hand. And then we can Merchant Scroll for the 1 Paradoxical Outcome I left in the deck. I guess I left 2. Okay. Pass the turn. Mana Crypt. We lost the flip again. We draw another Bowmasters. Untap the Mana Vault to make a mana. We'll outcome for 6, floating a color. Or I guess I can float a blue, actually. We have found our first land. Love that. Okay. We'll Needle. Name Wasteland. Needle again. We'll name the Dauntless Dismantler. I don't think I want to play out the Mana Crypt. I mean, I guess I could. Yeah, we'll play it out, I guess. Play the Key. Tap for black. Untap. Untap the Mox Opal. Tap for black. Play the Lurrus. And then I can discard a Bowmasters that I'm able to replay. Or I guess I discard 2 Bowmasters that I can play next turn. Mana Crypt is back. We won the flip. The other outcome. Sure. Untap Mana Crypt. Paradoxical Outcome again. We found the Time Vault, so that should be infinite turns. We have Lurrus to offset the Mana Crypt, so we'll never die to Mana Crypt. Play the Time Vault. Play Key. And our opponent concedes the match. Perfect. We are now 2-1, 2 matches left to go. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Talk about a weird hand. We're in match number 4, and I've opened up 4 copies of Urza's Saga. We have the Manifold Key. We have a Force. I mean, is this the craziest keep? I'm kind of tempted. We're going to try it out. Okay, let's see what our opponent's up to. Ancient Tomb. Mox Jet, okay. Sphere of Resistance. I think I'll force this. Exile a Merchant Scroll. Come on, Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. What about another Force of Will? We'll play Urza's Saga. And then let's play Manifold Key. Pass the turn. They play Tellurian Academy. And a Null Rod. Well, I only have the one artifact. Crucible of Worlds. I don't have a blue card. So now if they draw Wasteland, I'm just out of this game. Blusterstorm. We'll play an Urza Saga. Pass the turn. Patchwork Automaton. They have one card in hand. I think I'm supposed to let this go. It's a land. Alright. We'll draw for turn. It's a Soul Ring. I'll float a mana here. And now we'll search for an artifact. Doesn't really matter with that Null Rod in play. We'll grab a Mox Sapphire, I guess. Play the Urza Saga. And then let's make a construct. We have a 3/3. They tap the Tolarian Academy Time Vault. I think I'm good letting the Time Vault resolve. They don't have anything else going on. And there's a Null Rod in play. So we'll draw for turn. Another artifact is good. Float mana off the Saga. Grab a Mox Jet, I guess. It doesn't really matter. Play another Urza's Saga. All 4 sagas, it's what we do. Let's make another. And now we have a 6/6 construct. Get in there. Hiya. Nice Null Rod. Does it come in playable? Phyrexian Metamorph. Well, I'm going to Force of Will this one. We'll draw. Underground Sea, certainly a good one. Float mana. Grab a Mox Ruby. Play the Underground Sea. And a 3rd construct. At this point, our opponent's forced to chump block, and instead they concede. We're facing Prison Chops. You want the 2nd copy of Force Negation. Mindbreak Trap is actually applicable here. I think Dismember's okay. It's not amazing, but it's a choice. You can also bring in the Needle. What I don't think is very playable is Mental Misstep or Flusterstorm. Those can get out of your deck fairly quickly. And now we're at 63. I actually am not a huge fan of Bowmasters in this matchup either, so I think that those can get sided out. And then we'll bring in the Urkel's Recall. This looks fine to me. Game number 2, we're on the draw. We have 2 pieces of counter magic. I don't love this hand, but I do think it's fine enough. Well, now they get to see what I have. Having Gitaxian Probe here is so huge for them. They get to play around Mindbreak Trap for most likely the rest of this game. That's a Patchwork Automaton. You got it. We find another copy of Underground Sea. Play the Polluted Delta, the Mox Pearl, and the Mox Opal. Pass. Null Rod. I think I'm obligated to force this. And another Null Rod. Brutal. Okay. They attack for 3. We find Urza's Saga. That was a good draw. Pass the turn. They're going to 8 life here for a Nettle Cyst. It's a 3/3. We're going to take 4. I think I'm going to fetch and dismember the Nettle Cyst. Well, the Germ token on the Nettle Cyst. And I'll pay 1 black mana into it. So I go to 10. And now our Saga can create constructs, and we rip Urkel's Recall. Wow. Best draw on the deck. We will pass the turn. Our opponent goes to combat. I will take 4 down to 6. And they're passing. On the end step, we will create a construct. And now we draw the Saga triggers. I will Urkel's Recall them. And now we can activate our Opal and create a construct. Grabbing Needle. We'll name Nettle Cyst, I guess. It doesn't matter. Maybe Wasteland's just better. They don't have the life to equip, really. We'll play the Urza Saga and attack for 5. Alright, we are 3-1. 1 match left to go. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. The final round, and we're on the draw. I will keep. I faced this person, I believe, in my last Doomsday video, and they were, my last Doomsday video, and well, they were also on Doomsday. So I think having double Dress Down plus Flusterstorm is at least okay. Mox Jet, and they did not reveal a Lurrus. Alright, well, they're not on Doomsday. Mox Ruby says that they're not. It looks like it might be Jewel Shops. Mental Misstep. Let's play out a Bobble. I'll target myself. Bowmasters. Bowmasters tends to be okay versus Jewel. The problem is, am I going to get to untap? I don't know. Alright, we'll take the Bowmasters. Another Grim Monolith. Sure. And they choose to pass. We draw another land. We'll play Flooded Strand and pass the turn. Mox Sapphire, so now they have a blue source. The One Ring. Okay, that's going to resolve. I'll respond here. Might as well grow my Orc a little bit, right? We'll flash into Orcish Bowmasters. I have to target myself here, so we'll do that. And now the draw trigger on the One Ring. Target my Orc. Mystic Forge resolves. They're passing the turn with Ring Protection. My draw has not aligned well against theirs. Play an Urza's Saga. Pass the turn. No point in attacking, they still have the Ring Protection. Soul Ring. I will Mental Misstep this. Try to keep them low on mana. The Ancestral, I will respond with a Flusterstorm. They exile the top of their deck with the Mystic Forge. And now misstep on Soul Ring. They'll draw a couple cards and I get to deal them damage with Bowmasters here. I guess I should have had a stop in their second main phase, but I don't. So I'm going to flash and dress down now just to cycle. Draw another land. Not ideal. Play out Underground Sea. We'll go to combat and swing for 5. Pass the turn. The One Ring is going to knock them down to 9. They play an Ancient Tomb. Exile the top card of their deck with Mystic Forge, which was a basic island. They'll draw some cards here and take damage from Orcish Bowmasters. They're now at 5 life. Grim Monolith, okay. They play Sensi's Divining Top. That's got to be good with their Mystic Forge. Mana Vault, sure. And Tanker. Gets rid of the One Ring. Phyrexian Metamorph. They choose Orcish Bowmasters. So now they can draw cards. Okay. I don't think I was supposed to dress down in response, but I could be wrong. The One Ring again. Alright. They have 2 blockers here. Although, oh no, my bad. Manifold Key won't save me. Going to flash and dress down now. I don't think a construct is actually going to help me here. And I chose to do it in my main phase because I wanted my Bowmasters to be live on my turn, but maybe that's silly. Cataxian Probe. We will tap Saga for mana. I still don't need that construct. Go grab a Soul Ring. Play Mana Vault. Mox Opal. Cataxian Probe targeting myself. This is going to be 3 damage overall because the Bowmasters is also going to trigger. Okay. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think I want to play the land yet. So I'm going to outcome for 3. And somehow it resolves. Okay. They're going to deal it all at me. We will Time Walk. Play Soul Ring. Play Mox Opal. Mana Vault. Let's Ancestral myself here. This will knock me down to 7. Okay. Play Mox Pearl. Let's undo. Let's put Lurrus to my hand. Play the Lurrus. I'll play my land for turn. This puts me to 6. We'll grab Underground Sea. We'll play a Bowmasters and kill their Bowmasters. And then we'll pass to myself. In the upkeep, we'll Vampiric Tutor. And the opponent concedes. Sweet. Alright, Jewel Shops. We want Force of Negation, the Mindbreak Trap. Flusterstorm isn't that amazing. I feel like we might want Pithing Needle. I don't know about Cage. It does stop Citadel, which might be fine enough. The problem is, like, what do you actually take out here? Like, Dress Down is kind of stinky in this matchup, so those can go out. But you're still at 64 cards. I feel like 4 Flusterstorms is a lot in this matchup, so maybe we don't bring in that. Maybe, I mean, Needle's okay, but it's not amazing. Won't bring in the Cage. You know what? I'm just not going to bring in the Needles. Let's try this. Like, the Needle names the One Ring, and you can name Mystic Forge, but it's just not fantastic. Reveal the Lurrus. Sure, we'll try it. Our opponent plays a first turn Urza's Saga, Mox Emerald, okay. Grim Monolith resolves, 4 cards still in hand. That's a key. Untaps Grim Monolith. Alright, so they still have 3 cards. You draw Force of Will. That was a not bad draw. I guess I could have missed up the key. Maybe that was a mistake on my part. I wasn't thinking about it when they played the key. This has not been my best video for play, I will admit. I probably should have countered the key. Urza Saga goes to the second chapter, they play another saga. This Hurkyl's Recall, I think, is just going to bounce a bunch of construct tokens. Mana Vault. Let's play the Mana Vault. And we will untap Soul Ring. Pass the turn. They create a construct. And now they're going to untap the Grim Monolith. They'll make another construct. They pick up a Black Lotus, play Mishra's Workshop. Trinisphere. I'm going to allow Trinisphere to resolve. We will take 7. And now they're going to play Tinker. I'm going to Force of Will, exiling Mental Misstep. We'll go to our turn. No on the Mana Vault. Draw another land. And we'll pass. They create a construct. Sure. They tap the Saga for mana. Since he's Divining Top. They untap Grim Monolith. Sure. They play Mana Vault. That's fine. In their beginning of combat, I will Hurkyl's Recall. Alright, they just passed to the end step. I'll fetch on their end step. I was going to, if they try to play stuff, I was going to Outcome. But because they passed, I'm going to see if we can draw another permanent Paradoxical Outcome. Okay. And we did. We drew Mox Pearl. Love that. Let's make a bunch of mana. Untap the Mana Vault. Tap it again. Let's draw 4. Leaving that white mana floating because we could use it to cast Lurrus. And we hit Bowmaster's Twister. Not a bad spot to be in. Play the Soul Ring. Play Mana Vault. Manifold Key. Mox Opal. Valerian Academy. Tap the Opal for a black. We'll play Bowmasters. Save the target at them. And then auto yield to the trigger. Tap for a blue. Let's Time Twister. Okay, so we have Force of Will plus Demonic Tutor. We should be able to take infinite turns here. We'll play Mox Sapphire. Actually, if I create a black mana for Demonic Tutor using the key, I don't have infinite turns. So let's tap for mana. And hard cast Lorien Revealed. Ancestral Recall. Okay, we'll draw 3 more. Brainstorm. Think we missed. But I mean, I get to draw more cards here, so it's not the end of the world. Actually, hold on. I think the outcome just fixed a problem for us. So we're going to untap the Opal, float a black, and now we'll Paradoxical Outcome. Picking up the Bowmasters as well. And now I have the black mana, and I can go get the Time Vault. Replay some artifacts. Play Soul Ring off the floating white mana. Use Mox Ruby to play a Mana Vault. Okay. And now we will Demonic Tutor. Go get Time Vault. And our opponent concede. So we got the 4-1 with the only match loss being a huge misplay in match number 1. I should never have picked up that Orcish Bowmasters, but I haven't been playing that much Vintage recently. I mean, I played that one recorded league with Doomsday, but that is my first league since Eternal Weekend. And while my rust is showing a little bit, I'm not that in tune with Vintage, I'll say. But hopefully you still enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Hopefully, you had fun watching. I guess that's what really matters. As far as this deck list goes, I don't know if I love the 4 Orcish Bowmasters Time Twister plan. I'm a big fan of Dig Through Time, Yawgmoth's Will, all these powerful cards. And Orcish Bowmasters Time Twister takes up so many slots. I could be wrong. And I get that Orcish Bowmasters gives you a little bit more play in the Orcish Bowmasters mirror and against Lavinia. That said, I don't know if it's the style of deck I really want to play. You don't really feel like you're playing a combo deck that often. I guess I'll say that. Like, this does feel a little bit more like a control deck that has a combo aspect to it rather than a dedicated combo deck. I guess that's my point. But thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. And as always, keep storming. Hey, Bryant Cook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's no better way to support our channel. If you're interested in elevating your combo game, visit theepicstorm.com/tutoring for details about our coaching sessions. Don't worry, there's more great combo content coming right up.